Welcome to the Numerology and Astrology for October 30th, 2021. If we add all those numbers together, we get the number 9. The number 9 desires completion of something and brings with it an emotional, mystical expression. This number asks us to abandon prejudices and to have the maturity to place the feelings of others ahead of our own. Today is a lovely day to write and get going on creative projects. If you have a desire to meditate, you may discover some deeper insight about things that matter. For others, expressing emotions that want to pull us into deeper territory can be difficult. When we stuff things down, unpacking them later on so we can understand them can be challenging. Notice the external stressors that make you feel unfocused and scattered. Remember to not blame others as emotions arise. We have all had those moments that we wish to forget, but those moments shaped us in ways that we may need to release instead of hanging on to them. Life is difficult for everyone at various times. Take those moments and learn from them rather than blame others. While others make terrible choices that do harm, it is up to us to let those people go in ways that are constructive to our personal growth. The astrology today. The moon finishes up in Leo, but in the afternoon it shifts into the detailed and health-focused sign of Virgo. The sun and Saturn square off, and it may make us face some restrictions and external limitations. Know that there are some things that we may not want to see clearly. If that is the case, it might generate upsets and issues to overcome. The real world seems out of control on so many levels. It seems our old world is just not aligning in ways that seemed the way things used to be. And it continues to be shocking to our psyche. Know that each person needs to stay highly responsible and accountable for their actions. Make choices that make your life as smooth as possible. There are enough reactive and upset behaviors happening at this time. Try not to add to it. Know that expectations that are unreasonable will always become triggers, but that is not a justification to hurt others. Self-control is a skill that seems to be lacking in too many situations. No matter what, be kind, my little motto. Mercury and Neptune quincunx, making us ask questions and lots of things. It may be difficult to be focused at work. Too many things are causing confusion and distraction. It probably is a good day to take some mental herbs to keep on track. Mars moves into Libra. Mars moves from Libra into Scorpio, and that will last until December 13th. Mars is Scorpio's secondary ruling planet, and that gives the transformative sign of Scorpio more energy to do what is needed. The one drawback is that emotions can get carried away, as Mars can be very demanding. It will help with the focus and persevering no matter what is happening. Use that energy to shift gears out of third gear and into fourth. It's time to get going. And my quote for today: watch the light linger in the sky. Notice the clouds as they float by. Be at peace as you feel the wind on your cheek. Know that life offers us more each and every week. Try not to worry when you do not know what is to come. Feel deep into your heart as it beats like a drum. Let life flow in and through your soul. That is the greatest gift and the ultimate goal. And my blog today. There are places and spaces that are ancient and old. Peru is one of those spots where one can feel the power of those that built and worshipped in the ancient ways. While I have been many places, certain ones strike a very different chord. And in Peru, the ancient patterns still exist and are worshipped alongside the more recent Christian beliefs and religion. Rarely have I witnessed such an odd intermixing of spiritual traditions and patterns. The churches were built by the Spaniards but made with the ancient stones of the Inca. In those churches, one finds that there are places behind the altars where the ancient practices still are seen. Offerings are left to the ancient deities alongside with the Christian God. Such things are never seen in the great churches of Europe or in other places that I have been. And to the native people of Peru, this is normal and not strange to them. They believe in both the old and the new, the ancient traditions and teachings, and the more recent Christian modalities. Those ancient stones have an aliveness and power that is beyond anything I have felt in other places. Perhaps it is because the Inca worshipped stones and believed that they had their own form of life force energy. And the people have continued to worship at the bases of these ancient monoliths, much like the Jewish tradition worships at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. What I've always found so interesting in Peru is how thin the air is at high altitude and how thin the veil is between the living and the dead. I have seen the many places where graves have been robbed because millions lived in these areas for hundreds of years before the Spaniards brought smallpox, and those millions died from famine, disease, slavery, and war. I'm sure that many areas have been rebuilt upon the graveyards, and I have experienced seeing otherworldly things while sleeping in seemingly brand new hotels, only to find out later that this hotel was built on an old graveyard. In such a country with very pitched and high mountains and glaciers, flat land is hard to come by, and there are no laws that protect sacred sites as in some other countries and places. In Peru, there have been many things stolen from graves and ancient sites to be sold to the highest bidder in other countries for art and investment. And disturbing grave sites can stir up a lot of problems. But perhaps because of their traditions and beliefs, I have felt the powerful forces of protection in those ancient spots rather than hauntings. The forces that I notice feel like ancient shaman that come to a person when they attempt to do the old rituals and speak in the words and ways that are familiar to them. It is as if they want to join you in the celebrations and ceremonies. At times, in the moonlight, I have seen the presence of many surrounding us while we were doing ceremonial practices. Such attempts bring forth a connection between the present and the past. Those from beyond the realms of the living wish to empower and give added energy to those rituals. Perhaps it's why I love Peru so deeply. I have never felt alone there. Many walked beside me and wanted to support the journeys of my soul to reclaim my heart. In many ways, Peru seems to have captured my heart from another time and place, and perhaps I can still feel the beating of that heart in that life, reconnecting me to this time and place. Thanks, everyone.